Hello, once again, class 12. I welcome you all in the new video series of chapter 4 of the Contemporary World Politics book. As we all know that this year we are having a big change in our syllabus. So, from the previous year, the chapter which was alternative center of the power has now become the new centers of power, in which the chapters apart from European Union and ASEAN, many new topics have been added like BRICS, SHARC, and we have to study about the Russia, China, India and Israel as a emerging centers of power. So we will understand about the Russia. As we know that if we are talking about the strength of Russia, we all know that the Russia become the successor of USSR, which was a superpower for a long time period, almost about 5 decades, from 1945 to 1991, and it was a leading country in counter to the capitalist economy in the world. So after its disintegration, how Russia emerged as the successor of USSR? As we know that during the USSR period, when the USSR were working, that time also it has 16 republics, but Russia is one of the most dominating republic of the USSR, and you can understand that Russia was working on the behalf of USSR, and this was the one of the cause but due to which the other republics felt segregated or alienated. That's why that time also it also created a lots of dissatisfaction in the society of USSR and the other republic of the USSR. So what does it mean as the Russia as the successor of USSR? When we are talking about the successor of USSR, you as a superpower, USSR has holding many responsibility in the world, and it has also many burden on itself. So Russia take over all its reward and its burden also. As a reward, Russia become the detained the place of the UN Security Council. As we know that USSR was one of the permanent member of the Security Council. This seat detained by the Russia, and Russia got the permanent membership of United Nations Security Council, as also got the veto power. It was a great achievement, and then USSR embassies become Russian embassies. All the USSR embassies, they become the Russian embassies. Russia was bound by the treaties that the USSR was the part of. All the nuclear disarmament treaties, whatever the treaties announced by the USSR, all that come to the Russia. So here we can see that after the disintegration of Soviet, even before disintegration, after the resolution Soviet Union in 1980s and 90s, Russia emerged as a strong successor of the USSR. Then we will talk about Russia as a nuclear state. As we know that during the Cold War era, both these superpower had among them arm race, and to compete with this arm race, both these have accumulated a lots of weapons, in which nuclear weapons are also there, and all these nuclear weapons which was in possession of USSR, that automatically that all come to the Russia. So after its dissolution in 1991, the Soviet weapons entered officially into the possession of Russian Federation. The Soviet nuclear arsenal contained some 45,000 warheads as its peak in 1985. In 1985, when the Russia was working as a superpower, it has about 40,000 5,000 warheads. The Soviet Union built about 55,000 nuclear warheads since 1949, and today it is one of the five recognized nuclear state under the NPT. NPT here stands for Non-Proliferation Treaties. So Russia has considered as among nuclear countries. Russia's military budget in both the real terms and percentage of GDP, it is amongst the highest in the world. So this made Russia a very strong military power. As a significant chunk of Ukraine, once part of the Soviet Union, has been gobbled up. With the NATO alliance in decline, Baltic states such as Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania fear they might face the same fate. So, meanwhile, Russia feels confident enough to order the possessing of dissidents obstinately under the protection of the power such as Great Britain, seemingly without any great fear. So we can say that how it is still one of only 5 nations with power on veto on the United Nations Security Council, and the Russia bear still has clause for in the form of world's largest arsenal of the nuclear weapons. So we can say that Russia is a huge accumulation of nuclear power, and it is also it has shows its power time to time. When we saw in the operation in Syria and other places, it even in the Afghanistan, it entered in the world politics strongly. Then we will talk about the huge resources in the Russia. Russia has wide range of natural resource that includes coal, natural gas, oil, rare earth element, and strategic minerals. So it has every type of minerals found. It is world's largest producers of natural gas. It has 8 largest crude oil reserves and second largest coal reserves in the world. All these natural resources made it very powerful, and it is third last exporter of primary aluminium and steel. So due to all these natural resources, also the strength of Russia increased many times rather than other countries. Now we will talk about the economy of Russia. The economy of Russia is an upper middle income mixed and transition economy. So it is first largest national economy in the Europe. In Europe, it has achieved the position of 5th countries. It is 11th largest nominal GDP in world and 5th largest by its purchasing power. Russia is 16th largest exporter economy in the world and leading exporter of the oil and natural gas. Then we can understand that Russia has gained a lot after its disintegration. It becomes a great power. When in 1991 December, Boris Yeltsin resigned from his office and the Prime Minister Putin became the acting president. And in the election held March 2000, he was duly elected as a new president. He was formerly the chief of Russia intelligence wing, and he worked a lot for the strength of the Russia, and we can understand We can say that in today's world, in today's condition, Russia is a potential superpowers of the world. Russia has registered a significant position in the world, and it is emerged after losing all its status as a superpower. Russia again regaining its status, and the Russian Federation has been suggested as a potential candidate for resuming a superpower in the 21st century. So that's all for today. In next video we will talk about the new center of power in new center of power topic for we will study about our own country, India, Israel and China. We have already studied in the previous video. So thank you for watching. That's all for today.